7:30, we'll have tickets for you to see Luke Bryan in Lake Tahoe. Did you watch the All-Star game? Did you watch any of the All-Star festivities?
Parts of all of it.
By the way, before you elaborate any further, welcome Kyle Madsen and video producer Jay Marshall to the show as well.
Hey.
Okay, thank you, Kyle. That's all. That's all. Okay. I should have never pointed you in the direction of that Antonio Brown sound.
I found all 9 minutes, and it's 9 minutes of gold.
I can't believe you watched all 9 minutes of Antonio Brown on Instagram Live.
Yeah.
I don't even think Antonio Brown watched all 9 minutes of Antonio Brown Live. And we'll get to that video. It's getting some run here today, as all of his social media behavior has over the course of the last few days. But we'll get to that as the day rolls along here. We got a Facebook question up for those who wake up early, like to get on social media. That's out there for you. Okay, back to the question. Did you watch any of the All-Star festivities?
Yeah, parts of all of it. Certainly I was more interested in anything that was related to the Kings, so that was more of Friday and Saturday night. But I still think the Major League Baseball All-Star Game is the best, but I think the NBA All-Star Game is pretty good.
Why do you think baseball is the best?
I think it's the most true to the actual game.
You think it's competitive?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But for those that, they didn't play any okay, that's kind of the plan of the All-Star Game. I mean, they ramped up when they needed to.
It's an
at the
exhibition.
End. Yeah, which is fine. I mean, I have no problem with the overall weekend. I know every year someone will find something that they didn't like, and that's fine. But it's more of a showcase to me of the entire league, of future stars, current stars, and then honoring legends like they did this week with Wade and Nowitzki.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather watch that Steph bounce pass to Giannis for 3 hours than the MLB All-Star Game. I love baseball.
I think that was the greatest play in All-Star history.
Wow.
That was ridiculous. What was that look for? That was insane.
One of your favorite plays of all time is Magic ending the All-Star Game.
Yeah.
Okay. This was better than that?
Well, no, this was entirely different than that. Like,
okay.
This wasn't even close to the same.
Okay.
The Magic ending the All-Star Game was like an emotional moment. Like
Makes it the greatest, one of the greatest.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
100%. But this, just in terms of the play, like, did you see where Giannis caught the ball?
I did.
You're not even mildly impressed by that?
I was impressed, sure. When Dominique and Isaiah Thomas did it in, like, the 80s. That was cool, too.
But way less athletic because it was in the 80s.
Oh, yeah. Dominique couldn't dunk at all. You're right. I forgot about that.
Isaiah puts an instant stink on everything, though.
Yeah.
That Isaiah.
Okay.
It doesn't. I'd rather have Steph do it.
In a loss.
Oh, snap.
Got him.
So KD wins another MVP. Steph just can't win meaningful MVPs anywhere.
KD's in his way.
Dissension amongst the Golden State Warriors. Holy smokes!
I mean, did you like All-Star Weekend? I mean, for what it is, I think it's fine.
Yeah, I guess it was fun. Like, I can't say I was locked to it.
Right.
I did enjoy. I think the best part of All-Star Weekend was, who threw Marvin Bagley? Was it Bogey?
Yes.
When Bogey passed it to Marvin Bagley at the end of the game, despite the fact they weren't on the same team.
Yeah, that was
fun.
That
was my favorite part of All-Star Weekend, was that.
Yeah.
And if you had just turned your head at the wrong time, you would have missed it, because nothing – and no one other than a Kings fan thought that was great.
Right.
I just thought – that's awesome.
Yeah. No, that was fun.
Everybody trying to do a spectacular dunk at the end and failed was also fun.
Yeah.
But
Marvin got another try from his teammate, but not his teammate that day.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was fun.
Can we acknowledge the awesome symbolism of Bogdan Bogdanović not passing to Luka Doncic and passing to Marvin Bagley instead?
Good point.
That's solid. Yeah, that's solid work right there. I'm sorry, Darren Ravel just tweeted this. I need to read it out loud so I can grasp the context of it. After week 1, the new football league, the Alliance of American Football, essentially sold off the entire league to Carolina Hurricanes owner Tom Dundon. Dundon puts in $250 million.
Huh.
So they sold off the league already? Wait a minute. There were games for this weekend. Did they sell off the Alliance of American Football League already?
And was that a good purchase?
With the That's what do you get for the guy who has everything? You buy him the Alliance of American Football. He bought this as a gift for like his 10-year-old son or something.
I think I'm going to buy a football league today.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, to be fair, that's what Vince McMahon does. Like, Vince McMahon doesn't buy a football league. He just wakes up and decides, I'm going to invest
I'm going to create
$500 million into a football league. With the AAF owned by one entity, it uses the same single entity model as the XFL. The league owns everything, including the teams, and players are paid by the league, very different from the NFL. And key legal and business implications are in an upcoming article on Sports Illustrated.
Okay.
Interesting.
I feel like modeling your league after the XFL is not that good of a thing to do.
I disagree. I'm still of the mindset the XFL would have been successful had they not just made a few very critical mistakes in week one.
Yeah. Well, and we talk about
how I feel about my life.
How many times
it's how we all feel about your life.
They've been copied, right? And improvements and innovations they made that other sports took, but XFL didn't get as much credit for it at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Now we'll see what XFL version 2.0, whenever that starts, if it does start next year. Yeah.
Next year with, who was it again? Oh, Bob Stoops.
Yes.
Bob Stoops in
Dallas,
right? The running the Dallas franchise.
The evolution of the game.
Thank you. Did you know that there were AAF games this weekend?
I did, but
did you stumble?
I did not. Yeah.
Have we determined if it's actually on television?
Well, the first
we know
week
one was.
Yeah, I don't know this week.
I feel like the rest are on CBSSportsOnline.com or something like that.
I also can't tell if people watch it because they like it or they're watching it ironically. Like, I haven't determined that yet because people are like, Trent Richardson. And it's like, well, okay.
Do you want to be the utmost AAF knowledge? Do you want to, like, go to the barbershop and be able to talk about the AAF game that happened the day before?
When that comes up?
Yeah. Like, when inevitably the conversation about the Alliance of American Football comes up.
Sure.
I saw a thing online.
Your hot take about Kaepernick and Antonio Brown playing together in Wichita or wherever.
Birmingham.
Sorry.
And thank you. And I saw something online that was advertised as the best AAF podcast you're going to find.
Oh, nice.
And I think it was the only AAF podcast
I'd imagine.
you're going to find.
Yeah.
So congratulations to that podcast.
Good for them. Good for them. That's solid stuff right there. James Harden says he wants to play a little bit differently than he has. We'll give you some context behind that as the drive continues here with the Lowdown on Sports 1140.
At Damian Barling, Jason at Jason Ross 1140, and Chris at SAC_MCFC. Also, check out the Lowdown on Facebook. Damian and Jason, back to you.
Thank you, Cody. We've got Overreaction Monday coming up in the 8 o'clock hour. Make sure you're with us. We'll talk about Anthony Davis. You see, Rich Paul was sitting courtside.
I did.
That bother you?
Nah. But convenient. Nice seat.
Yes, it was nice. Yes, it was a nice seat. When you're one of the most powerful agents in the game, you get a good seat. But it was, some people brought it up like, oh, look at that. Yeah, that's not unusual. For some reason, everybody knows who Rich Paul is. Maybe they don't know who Bill Duffy was, or maybe they don't know who Casey Wasserman is. This isn't new.
Mm-hmm.
That's who those seats are reserved for.
Right. He's just high profile at the moment.
A smidge bit hypersensitive to Rich Paul.
Understandably, though, right?
No.
Like, LeBron is there, Rich Paul's client, and
I feel like you wanted to laugh when you said client.
No.
Okay.
I was trying to make sure that was the right word. LeBron is Rich Paul's client for all intents and purposes. And LeBron just happens to be playing on a team with a bunch of guys who are going to be free agents next year. And Rich Paul just got done destroying the Pelicans.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's just a tough look for me.
Well, to be fair, the Pelicans had 6.5 years to destroy themselves with Anthony Davis on the roster.
That's true. He
accelerated
accelerated the process.
Yeah, like, let's be fair to the conversation here. The Pelicans had an opportunity to build around Anthony Davis, and they failed. They tried the DeMarcus Cousins thing. It ultimately, DeMarcus got hurt, therefore it didn't work.
Right. Terrible luck, but it didn't work, right?
Didn't happen.
That was the plan, then the plan they had to change.
Yeah, so, I mean, they've had 6.5 years. I think the dynamite was set by the New Orleans Pelicans. Maybe Rich Paul just pressed the button.
Yeah.
And now everything is imploding upon itself, and Anthony Davis played, it was like 5 minutes in the All-Star game this weekend, coming off the shoulder injury. And what happens moving forward with Anthony Davis it'll be fun to monitor, and it'll be an interesting discussion. We'll have that later on in the day. If you want to take part in any of these discussions, you can. Fire Wings Hotline. Try one of the delicious 21 flavors of wings today. Fire Wings, just swing it 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Of course, you can get us on the Jiffy Loop text line as well, 44-1140. Damien and Jason in for Carmichael Dave, who will be back with you on Monday. James Harden did an interview with Rachel Nichols in which he was discussing his style of play. Obviously, James Harden, 30 points or more in 31 consecutive games. James Harden tells Rachel Nichols, the scoring streak, obviously, it's amazing, but it's something that I just had to do because of our situation. We had all of the injuries and guys in and out of the lineup and things like that. So I think the streak just started happening, and now it's something to talk about. But it's not something that I'm really honestly focused on. That's something I have to do in order to give us a chance to win.
Okay, I agree with most of it, not all of it. The part I don't agree with is that he's not thinking about it. I think once it's put out there, what was the game? Was it last week when we were on where he literally had 11 points in the last...
Yeah, 2 minutes.
Yeah, so he was aware, right? Yeah. On that, and they were ahead by 15 or so.
On the same day, Russell Westbrook had 5 assists in the fourth quarter.
So they're aware, and again, stat padding, whatever. He's able to do it. The other part, though, I agree with. I think out of necessity, when Chris Paul was out and Clint Capella, who's still out, I think it gave his team the best chance to win, though I think it would be important for him to figure out if his teammates can help him in the long term.
Maybe deep down he already knows. He's just like, these guys can't help me.
Yeah.
I'm going for 30.
Well, I think
40 in his case.
Some of the greatest scorers we've seen in the last 20, 30, 40 years, however long you've been following the NBA, I think when they truly progressed is when they started to trust their teammates a little bit at least. And I don't know that James Harden has done that, and maybe he has more trust when Chris Paul and Clint Capella are there. But, Jordan, anybody else that's been a great scorer, when they finally started to find other teammates in important games and important times, I think it helped make their team better, even though they're still all incredible individuals.
Second most shot attempts in the All-Star game goes to Giannis was first. He had 23. Any guesses who was second?
Your boy?
Russell Westbrook had 20 shot attempts.
Of course he did.
And oh, no, I take that back. It was actually your boy. Steph.
Just laying bricks the entire fourth quarter?
Steph and Giannis both put up 23 shot attempts. Westbrook put up 20.
So we didn't get Westbrook's triple-double or Harden's 30, right?
No, James Harden just went for a measly 12 in the All-Star game. Westbrook went for 17, 3, and 4 rebounds.
What was his plus-minus?
Not relevant.
I think Russell Westbrook was minus 20.
You think, but that's
he's
actually
just asking.
inaccurate.
He's not sure.
That's not true.
Yeah.
He was not minus 20.
Okay, minus 18.
Nope.
22.
Nope.
We warm?
It was actually minus 19. So you skipped right over. You skipped right over the number that he was. But wait a minute. You don't even like the plus minus stat. What are you jumping in on this conversation
I was
for?
supporting
You hate
Kyle.
this stat. Oh, now you're supporting the
That's
stat.
very nice. That's very nice of you, Jason.
I like to play that game where you try to guess the number. And I'm just trying to guess. 19 was the number, everybody.
And they were up like 16, and then Russ came in and did his Tasmanian devil.
Yeah. Wait, what, Kyle? What does the minus 19 mean, though?
What do you mean?
Like, what's that stat mean?
It means that his team got outscored by 19 while he was on the floor.
Oh, wow. Okay. Just wanted to make sure I knew what plus minus was.
Dame Lillard was plus 20. He was shooting baskets from Raleigh.
Yeah.
He pulled up from the logo twice.
In a row.
And made them both.
Dame made Kawhi smile. Did you see that clip? When he shot it from the NBA logo? I think it was LeBron, maybe Durant, and Kawhi were all on the bench together, but they were standing up, and Kawhi was smiling at Dame Lillard. It's true. There's video evidence.
I don't believe it.
There is video evidence of Kawhi Leonard smiling. I believe there's also video evidence of Kawhi dancing during a timeout. I mean, it's an old dude at like the 45 and over club dancing, but he's moving for sure.
All right.
We'll step out. We'll come back. Josh Allen. Josh Allen has a new way of signing autographs, and I'm all for it. And it's franchise season in the NFL. That begins today. We'll let you know what that means for your favorite team next.
Now, your Sports 1140 KHTK update. Brought to you by J.R. Putman Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
This is Kyle Madsen with your top stories on Sports 1140. San Francisco Giants manager Bruce Bochy announced yesterday that 2019 will be his final season and that he will retire at the end of the year. Bochy became the Giants manager in 2007 and has 3 World Series titles since 2010. And in hockey last night, that's right, hockey, the San Jose Sharks went down 3-1 in the first period but battled back to tie the game at 5 to send things to overtime behind a hat trick from Joe Thornton. Boston, though, prevailed in overtime to take home a 6-5 win. San Jose sits 1 point back of Calgary for first in the Pacific. Those are your top stories. Now back to The Drive with Damian and Jason filling in for Dave on Sports 1140 KHTK.
I admire the scarf. I appreciate that. It's a good look. I didn't do the...
Just for you.
Figured at some point I was going to have to leave that gimmick alone. I can't... Because it's there's a good chance in July we'll have to fill in.
Yeah, but...
Finders keepers.
It fits now.
Yeah.
It's a little chilly this morning.
It was a little chilly this morning, but yeah, I went the turtleneck route. I know how much Dave's viewing audience loves the turtleneck. Murph, if you're listening, it's for you, buddy.
Yeah. I saw you on the TV this week and you had the turtleneck on.
I did, yeah. That was more the Kevin Love turtleneck suit.
Oh,
that I was,
gotcha.
Yeah, I was rocking that way. But yeah, I had fun with Marshall and Sarah.
Yeah,
the
it was good.
11:30 sports Sunday show.
You were up late. That's late for you.
Yeah, that is late for me. I had a very atypical weekend. I spent a lot of time away. Even when I went to the city for the weekend, which was a lot of fun.
Okay. Have you not done that in a while?
I haven't.
Okay.
Especially staying the night. Normally, I just go to my sister's, who's like past the city, in like this Redwood City, San Carlos area. But no, I just went, had some great food.
Saw that vegan sushi.
I had some vegan sushi. My chef, it turns out, is from Sacramento. Oh. He's from Sacramento, very familiar with Sports 1140, knows the sushi place at Midtown Sushi that I go to out here.
Okay.
And I had posted the story on Instagram, and my buddy at Midtown Sushi, who's the manager there, said, "Hey, by any chance, are you at the sushi bar?" And I'm like, "Yeah." The guy who's there, like, he's from Sacramento. His name's Jimmy. And I was like, "Hey, man, is your name Jimmy?" And he looks at me like, yeah.
Who's asking?
So I started explaining to him, "Hey, we're from Sacramento, blah, 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 blah." So, yeah, it was a fun little weekend in the city.
Nice.
Or really a fun night in the city.
Yeah, that's all right.
What about you? Did you have a good weekend?
I did. It was weird to not have really any obligations.
No Kings game, no Sac State football.
Yeah.
No KHTK program directing. No,
it's kind of fun.
No nothing.
And it all goes fast. It always goes fast, even when you have the extra day, which makes today Monday.
It makes today Monday, but it also made yesterday like exceptionally boring.
Yeah.
Because there was that like, okay, we're back on tomorrow, and not only are we back on tomorrow, but we're back on tomorrow at 6 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
So like just the process of laying things out when your show is at 6 a.m. versus noon is completely different.
Yes.
And it made for like yesterday didn't really feel like a day off.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like, okay, preparation to go back to work the next day.
Yeah.
And then we're done at 9, and I literally don't know what to do with my life when the show is over. I'm the lamest human being alive. Like, the show ends at 9, and I'm looking around like, okay, guys, what now? And then Jason has a job to do. Kyle has a job to do. And I feel like everybody's just really anxious for me to get the hell out of the way. So I just leave.
You have one of your many workouts to get in.
Yeah, I do that too.
Yeah.
I'll get my workout in for sure. Josh Allen, I love this. This is passive aggressive behavior at its finest. Josh Allen, who you may recall, was referred to. Josh Allen, of course, the Buffalo Bills starting quarterback, was one of the many targets of Jalen Ramsey during a rather wide-ranging GQ article. I believe the term used to describe Josh Allen was trash. Well, Josh Allen signed an autograph this weekend that said, "Hey, Ramsey, am I still trash?" Josh Allen, whatever his number is for the Buffalo Bills. And I thought, man, that's fun. It was actually a picture of him celebrating a touchdown when the Bills beat the Jaguars 24-21 over the season, during the season.
Yeah.
I thought that was fun.
Good for him. I mean, if Ramsey's going to say what he says, then who got that autograph is what I want to know.
Yeah, I think it was – I'm not positive, but I think it might have been one of the guys from Barstool Sports, or at least I think that's one of the guys who tweeted it.
Gotcha.
Jalen Ramsey says, yes, you're still trash.
Okay.
So Jalen Ramsey is still talking.
Oh, of course.
Which feels like a really bad strategy.
Well, I would say this. It does, but if you talk, if you talk after your AFC Championship appearance, you need to talk after your – what do they have, 5 wins?
Something like that. Have that many, Kyle?
Josh Allen is still trash, though. Like, are we all on the same page there that Josh Allen isn't a good football player?
He's not yet good.
Okay.
Right.
I think that's fair. I don't want to more time. I think you should be in the league a few years before you're referred to as trash. Like Josh Allen, I think deserves.
There's a reason it's called trash talk.
Josh Allen deserves the opportunity to
exaggerate a little bit.
Yeah. Nate Peterman, it's fine.
Trash.
Like that's fine. Like you've seen enough to be signed by the Oakland Raiders. Like it's cool. Josh Allen, let's give him some time. Josh Rosen, let's give him a little time. Let's let these guys play a little bit.
Would Jalen Ramsey, would we know about him if he didn't really talk? Because I think in football circles, people think he's really good. Mm-hmm. But now we're talking about the masses that follow. I mean, how many defensive players do the masses really know? And so now all of a sudden, wow, this guy said what? He said this about this guy, and he always continues to talk. Would we have an opinion of him if he didn't do that?
Yes.
You think so?
Yeah.
The masses?
I'm not positive. I mean, he's really good. Like, I mean,
can the masses name... Masses can name 10 quarterbacks. Can the masses name 10 great defensive players?
No, I don't think so. I think so. I think the GQ article put him on the front page.
Really?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like I understand the GQ article is one thing, but he was the centerpiece of that ridiculous Jaguars defense.
Jacksonville Jaguars, though. You have to take.
They went to the AFC title game and almost beat the Patriots.
You've got to take this. You know why people don't care about defensive players? Most fantasy leagues don't use them.
Right.
You have to take the Sports 1140 writer for KHTK.com, all of the 47 things that you do related to sports, and take that Kyle Matson and put it out and go, does your girlfriend know who Jalen Ramsey is? Does your mom know who Jalen Ramsey is? Does the people who casually watch football, do they know who Jalen Ramsey is as the cornerback of the Jacksonville Jaguars, or do they know him as that guy who talked all that trash in the GQ magazine and then wound up looking like an idiot several months later when his team was 5-12 or 11 or 10 or whatever?
5-12.
Or a disaster.
Yeah. I mean, the same thought. I mean, I know they were that close to the Super Bowl, but Blake Bortles was the quarterback of that team. He was that close. People don't think that highly of him. Mm-hmm. I'm not equating them to the same thing, but what's the truer term of that defense? That defense had one spectacular year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So he's kind of like the quarterback.
Are you giving him the Derek Carr treatment?
Well, that's what we wanted. Like Derek Carr had the 1 year where he was amazing, and we have to acknowledge that. The other years he's been fine, and other years like I'm not sure. So what really is Jalen Ramsey? Talker.
Maybe he is what the Jacksonville Jaguars are.
Yeah.
One good season surrounded by a mountain of trash, to use a Jalen Ramsey term.
Trash, interesting.
I mean, that's what the Jacksonville Jaguars have historically been, right?
Yeah.
And it starts at their quarterback position. So now, like, I think the question with the Jaguars is franchise season is amongst us in the NFL, and that's a big deal. I don't know that it necessarily matters for the Jacksonville Jaguars, but there are some players out there where it really does matter for, like Nick Foles. He's going to be paying awfully close attention to his cell phone over the course of the next, I think it's now till, the 5th maybe, March 5th. DeMarcus Lawrence.
Right.
There's a number of guys out there that are going to potentially get this franchise tag, which is going to impact how things work in free agency this summer. And DeMarcus Lawrence is probably the biggest one because he got it last year. And it was if you're DeMarcus Lawrence, you're kind of running out of years. Like, he had a great year. And the Cowboys, and I think in this situation, were right. Okay, you've had some issues. You were marginal up until your contract year, but you were great last year.
Right.
We're going to reward you in terms of you're going to get paid handsomely. You're just going to get paid handsomely for a season. Then he has another really good year. And I don't care how many times you say Sean Lee's name, DeMarcus Lawrence is the anchor of that defense because he stays on the field. Sean Lee does not. And the Cowboys, from what I was reading this morning, might be of the mindset, yeah, why don't you go in and do that one more time for us, and we're going to slap this franchise tag on you. I feel like you're going to say something.
You have to pay quarterbacks and pass rushers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's it.
Oh, I agree. I don't agree with the Cowboys.
I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, I don't agree with the Cowboys at all.
Ridiculous.
No, I don't agree with the Cowboys' take on this at all. They've got to pay DeMarcus Lawrence. They're going to have to pay Dak Prescott at some point. They're probably going to have to pay Amari Cooper here moving forward. Ezekiel Elliott will be up right after that. Like, they have a long list of guys that they got to pay. But in my eyes, it starts. I'm with you, Kyle. It starts with DeMarcus Lawrence.
Absolutely.
You've got to pay him.
Yeah.
Nick Foles is a transition guy. What's going to happen with Le'Veon Bell? They can put some sort of tag on him. I don't know that they can use the franchise tag. I think that would cost him too much money. But there's something called the transition tag that they can put on Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown could both be Steelers next year. Whether they play or not, they could both be Pittsburgh Steelers.
That just seems like too weird of a outcome to have, though. I mean, it is possible, but they both have more Brown than, well, I don't know. Yeah, I feel like Brown has said more about that organization than Bell has. I mean, or indicated that he wants to be somewhere else more so.
If you have to pick one that's going to play games for the Steelers next year, Le'Veon Bell or Antonio Brown, who is it?
I would say Bell.
Really? I was going to say Antonio Brown.
Okay.
Huh. I was going to say Antonio Brown.
But I don't feel like either one.
Why Le'Veon Bell?
Because I feel like Brown is out, like just completely out.
But, I think the Le'Veon Bell situation leads me to believe, what are they going to do to accommodate Antonio Brown?
Yeah, because they could have done this last year, right? And he hasn't played for them in over a year now.
Doesn't Ben Roethlisberger have to go to Mike Tomlin, the general manager, the ownership group there, and go, get him out of here? I feel like that's the only way it gets done. Get him out of here.
Mm-hmm. Probably.
And publicly he'll save face and be like, no, I love Antonio. Yeah. I don't even know who I didn't see any confrontation with with another player on the field.
Right.
No, Ben, it was you. Everybody has said it was you except for you.
Right.
Also, we've been using the wrong name. It's Mr. Big Chest now.
Oh, I apologize.
Call me Mr. Big Chest.
Okay, thank you. We'll step out. We'll come back. That's Mr. Big Chest, Antonio Brown. Facebook question, worst player to ever win a slam dunk contest? A mean-spirited question, courtesy of Kyle Matson. Wow. We'll talk about that. And Rob Manfred says, every team just wants to win. Okay, Robbie. More of the lowdown next. How about this? Adrian Wojnarowski says that former Lakers forward Michael Beasley is finalizing a deal with the Chinese Basketball Association. A short run of 2 months for significant cash, according to Adrian Wojnarowski there.
Will he put on his uniform before he enters the game?
Here's the thing about that. This is the makeup of the current Los Angeles Lakers, where you're either a hand-picked LeBron James Laker or you're playing for the Chinese Basketball Association.
Yeah.
That's the state of this Los Angeles Laker team. And I know LeBron is the king. I know LeBron is the guy. I don't think the Lakers are making the playoffs, man. I think we're talking Clippers, and I think we're talking Sacramento Kings. And the Lakers will obviously be in the conversation because they're going to be force-fed into the conversation because LeBron James is on the team. And the other sad part is when if it is the Sacramento Kings that make the playoffs, the conversation isn't going to be about the Sacramento Kings making the playoffs. It's going to be about LeBron James and this sorry-ass Los Angeles Lakers team not making it.
Yeah, nationally. Here, of course, we'd be all in on the Kings. But you're right, the national scope on that. But is your thought on the Lakers not making it more LeBron or more the roster?
I think it's not even the roster because I didn't think to start the season that the roster was bad. We actually really liked the Laker team last year as they were coming up. I told you what I hated was what felt like the three camps of the Lakers, the LeBrons, and then which is just LeBron by himself, and then that young Laker group, and then the old LeBron hand-picked Laker group. I hated that, and I didn't think it was going to work, and we learned at the trade deadline it's not, because you're all expendable to appease the king. And I think that situation is too combustible to be fixed by one great player, particularly in the Western Conference when you've got Golden State and you got Denver and you got Oklahoma City and you got teams like Sacramento fighting their butt off to end their 12, 13-year drought, and you got teams like San Antonio trying to keep their head above water. I don't know if the Clippers are really truly trying to make the playoffs, and I don't know if it comes down to the Kings and the Clippers in the final week and a half of the season if we don't see some interesting coaching philosophies from Doc Rivers. But I don't like the Laker team, and I don't like them making the playoffs.
Even when they had everybody before he got hurt, they were 4 games above 500. But is it just too much?
A long time ago, man.
It is, but then the damage that was done on the rumor mill, I think, is what I wonder if they can recover from.
Are we ever going to look back at what Kevin Durant said about LeBron?
Toxic?
And go, maybe there was something to that.
Well, I don't know that does anyone dispute that it can be toxic around LeBron?
It just, I don't know, the comments just were not well received. And I wonder if those will ever be revisited.
I think what caught people's attention was that Kevin Durant said it, and I had always been of the theory that I don't care what smokescreen is out there, Kevin Durant's going to play with LeBron next year in Los Angeles. That had always been my feeling, and that was the only thing that surprised me about it. But history says since LeBron left Cleveland, really even before he left Cleveland, that there is a aura around him that it's believed LeBron should be in or be near the finals every year, and if he's not, heads are going to roll. Now, obviously, he's there every year, but you go back to that final year in Cleveland. The Cavs, Dan Gilbert foolishly fired Mike Brown in an effort of, I guess, winning LeBron's affections and hoping that he would come play for Byron Scott. Instead, he goes to Miami. Well, what went on around Miami 30 games into the season? There's the famous meeting with Pat Riley where he asked Pat Riley, he being LeBron James, asked Pat, you don't ever get the itch? Essentially trying to get Eric Spoelstra outed and Pat Riley out of the office down on the coaching bench, which we had seen before, a la Stan Van Gundy going to spend time with his family so Pat Riley can win another championship with the Shaq and Dwayne Wade version of the Miami Heat. And then you've got the constant roster changes at the trade deadline that we've seen complete roster overhauls with Cleveland. We saw an attempted roster overhaul with Los Angeles. We've seen aging veterans like Mike Miller expected to be the difference between a championship team and not. And, yeah, I mean.
But the results are there.
Sure.
Yeah. Is probably what he feels and what he sees.
Yeah, which is why I think this year it's going to be a rude awakening for him and the Los Angeles Lakers, because I think media people around the world and LeBron and the Lakers and Irvin, they all think, well, we've seen it before. He's going to take us to the playoffs. All we got to do is get to the playoffs. If we lose to Denver, whatever. If we lose to Golden State, whatever. But we got to get there. It would be embarrassing if we signed LeBron James and he didn't get there. I think LeBron would rather not make the playoffs. Yeah. I think if it's finals or like losing in the first round, because he wants to make the play. He wants to keep the streak to 9.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can just say, our roster was so bad, we couldn't make the playoffs. They'll be writing books about this year in Los Angeles. The year before so-and-so joined LeBron. The year before this person joined LeBron. The year before the Anthony Davis deal was done. People will be writing about this, and it'll be the big aberration of LeBron James' career. He didn't make the playoffs for the first time since, like his second season or something like that in the league.
Yeah, he joins the Western Conference and then misses the playoffs his first year in the West. It'd be a real tough hit, I think, for his overall legacy. Is that?
No, but I think you're wrong, because I think it would be spun as a roster issue.
Again, I think we talked about this last week I still think he can have that same framework, but I think he'd rather make the playoffs. And even if they make it as an 8 or a 7 seed and they're out quickly 4 or 5 games, it's still going to be a roster overhaul, and it could be even deemed, wow, they were below 500 at the All-Star break, and LeBron got that team to the postseason. Ultimately, they just didn't have enough firepower.
And that's the only way they do it, right? It'd have to be squarely on the shoulders. Like, to me, if they're going to do this, I think they got the Rockets out of the gate.
Okay.
They have to come out and, like, win a bunch of games in a row.
Yeah.
Like, and not like a 10-game win. I'm like 3 games. 3 or 4 games in a row. It's like, okay, now we're believers. Now we're in on this.
Yeah, because
I'm talking about the players. I'm not talking about the media or fans.
Sure.
I'm talking about, like, Brandon Ingram and Lonzo Ball and Rajon Rondo. I'm talking about those guys.
LeBron's going to tank for Zion.
Because before he got hurt, which, again, was a long time ago, was Christmas, they were the 4 or 5 seed.
Yeah. That was a long time ago, man.
I know,
it was a long time ago.
That's about how much time is left in the season.
So it's further time for them to fall.
Or make the climb.
Okay, Happy Tree. A couple of retirements coming in Major League Baseball, and what Rob Manfred said that is just outright funny. That's next.